Okay, I'm convinced. Kareem's power is getting into trouble.
NERDSoul.
Late Ill Kid at OneYoungsta, holding it down, bringing that StreetGeek and NERDSoul. What is up, my people, today? Oh yeah, we coming with another wonderful episode of Talk Shop, and we're going to get right into it with Chapter 5 of Black. Now, this particular chapter moves at a blistering pace, and we get a lot of just nuggets and pieces of lore that I wish we could spend time on, and I'm going to cover that in my review of the whole book after issue 6, of just like the whole thing together. But in this, what I like is that you get Detective Waters kind of brought into this world by Jeremiah. And we finally learn Morpheus' name is Jeremiah, because I've been calling him Morpheus the whole time, because in a way, this is kind of the Matrix, sort of, but I wouldn't say exactly, but it's got a Matrix-y feel. So we learn that his name is Jeremiah, and he's bringing Detective Waters in, kind of explaining the quirks and, the powers and, the behind the scenes, the battles, and he's kind of moving at a pace that would be hard for her to pick up, but good thing that she's a detective. I'm sure she's got it, but I do like that she stood her ground and she was like, look, I'm not going nowhere until you tell me what's going on, because think about it. She's been kind of like researching this, trying to figure out what's going on for a long time. And finally, she's, kind of got in the door, and you're with this dude that's just walking around like everything's hunky-dory. And at the same time, we get to see Jeremiah in a state that shows him as more of an autocratic type dude, because, to bring someone in that knows nothing about this, it would be nice to have him sit down, kind of explain to her. But dude just expects her to like just follow him around like, some pet of his. And that's a little unfair, especially seeing how she came into the situation. Like, she was just literally caught up in a war between, I believe, House or whatever, and, the escape, inmates from the project jail. So it's unfair to treat her that way. And I think he gets the douchebag card for that one, because he should have, at least spent time with, or gave her to someone else to spend time with and kind of like figure out her role and what is actually happening. But I do like, on the flip side, that they get to bring in a new character, which is kind of like, I'll just say, the Oracle for now. But this character is basically Igle, and they don't really explain his power, which is another thing I'll get to, but he's able to kind of like create this construct or these worlds or, these illusions to allow you to speak to him. And he knows a lot of, things about what's going on in the world around him. And he might have clairvoyant powers. We're not exactly sure, but he's definitely someone that Jeremiah goes to. And it seems like other people go to when they need that guidance. And he brings Detective Waters with him. And I like the interplay between Jeremiah and Id and Detective Waters and Id. And it seems that Detective Waters really catches on quick, man. And I like the fact that she isn't just there to be window dressing in this scene, because she could have just really fell back and they could have just forgot all about her. But I do like the fact that she steps in, kind of makes her presence known, and adds to the conversation. And he's like, well, I see that you're listening. I'm playing chess against you. And I thought that was cool, because Detective Waters has been underserved up until now. We've gotten little peeks of her, but this episode is where we really get to see her character. Now, on the other side, we're dealing with Kareem, who has now been taken to the Mann Corporation jail. And it's interesting that he doesn't seem too fazed by being incarcerated, by being caught, by being jailed, and all of that good stuff. And then it's even worse, because he meets another character in Overdrive who is also seemingly kind of not fazed about being in jail. And this is a huge deal. I mean, they're in like some maximum security technical jail with flying drones and stuff. And Overdrive, who the character we learn his name is, doesn't seem too pressed about being in jail. And we find out because the man, or Theodore Mann, is the one that's kind of like running this, and he's letting them have their powers, even though they have the collars on. And even through the prison fight that we get, that's kind of short, but it's still dope. I like the way they played it out. The prison fight, they never really seem like they're worried about being in jail. And on Kareem's side, that's kind of weird. And he ends up naming himself X, which even Overdrive says, like, you're not very creative, are you? But they just don't seem pressed. And I really would have loved to see them feel scared to be there. But now, of course, at the end of the issue, we find out that Overdrive, of course, is not scared because he has it set up to be kind of like saved. But, you know, in that situation, I feel like Kareem should have been really disoriented, at least, you know, like he should have really been scared to be in that atmosphere and not have any friends. So that kind of bothered me to a certain degree, but the story moves so fast, you don't really get to remark upon it. Now, there are a couple of things and a couple of story notes that we're gonna get to, but real quick, of course, Curo Brand gonna help us pay them bills. Oh yeah, you saw your boy in that? Did you see your boy? I'm just saying, yo man, if you like what you see, check that link below for Curo Brand. See a shirt, like it, cop it. Now, let's talk about Kronos, which is a machine that Jeremiah ends up using to kind of like enhance his powers tenfold, to be able to see further into the future. Now, Kronos is Cerebro. Straight up, Kronos is definitely Cerebro, but I do like the way they visualized it, and I think Jamal Igle is the one doing the artwork, even in this, I think he does it at all the issues. The way Jamal does the visualization of course, Kronos and how it works was very cool, and I still enjoyed it, but it's definitely Cerebro, and this joint is definitely like pulling, you know, from all kinds of, you know, media, and we'll talk about that in the next issue. But it's interesting to how in this scene, Detective Waters is still so cool. Like I don't mind her kind of catching on, but she was completely cool with the Cerebro thing, or sorry, the Kronos thing. And she didn't bug out at all. And I guess I could say, you know, that's a good thing that she ain't tripping, but it's also kind of weird because I assumed that I'd be like, kind of either astounded or amazed or scared or something with being around a machine like this and being in a world like this with all these crazy people that got powers, and I just found out like a week ago, or maybe, I don't know, I know there's a small time jump a few days ago. But I do like the fact that they didn't drop her from the scene, because they could have just dropped her out, but they did keep her as a part of it that shows that she's going to be a big part in the final issue, which is something that I think her character deserves, because she's been holding on. She's been like a dog with a bone this whole time, and she really deserves this. Now, on the Theodore Mann side, we find that there's someone above him that's kind of monitoring his interaction with the inmates, interactions with the experiments and all kinds of stuff. And he leads them into this science lab or whatever, where someone dies in front of Overdrive. And we find out that it's a trap. And I like that we get to see how Mann really believes that he is the one and only mastermind on the planet. I mean, after a really long conversation with Overdrive and Kareem kind of going back and forth about why this is happening, why they do this to us, and the young lady dying in Overdrive's arms, it's interesting to see kind of the quick turn to haha, and he's like clapping and he's all excited, you know, proud of himself about how he runs this place. And we end with seeing him with two mechs that I'm saying, yo, them joints are straight sweet. up against Overdrive's team that kind of like, I guess, beams in or materializes in or transports in or teleports in to that moment or to that section to, of course, start this battle. Now, this is where we end the issue, and here's where my issue is with this issue. I feel like this was too fast. I feel like this one, and I'm for someone who's like, yo, I'm down to pick up a story and we can just go, but this thing moves at a blistering pace. And I think issue 5, since issue 6 is the last one, I think issue 5 should have been one where we kind of really slowed down and got the calm before the storm, but I don't feel like we did. I feel like we dropped a lot of nuggets about the lore, like Kronos and Ego, even the man and the guy that's above him, but we didn't flesh those out. And I really wish we would have got those. But guys, you're on the read along with me. Of course, holla at me. I'ma holla at you. Down in them comments, let me know what you thought of course, issue 5 of Black. So before I bounce, I got to tell you guys to head up ThatNERDSoul.com. That's right. Check me out right there. All my videos from the oldest, newest, latest, greatest, and all that. Then hit up shop.ThatNERDSoul.com and pick yourself up a t-shirt player. And don't forget to get one for them playettes. Then come back here, like, comment, subscribe, and share that NERDSoul. That's right. There's no better way that I can show people that you like what you are watching. So of course, LA, what up? VA, what up? RVA, you got my heart. And please be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. And remember, man, breaking out of jail is not as easy as it seems. Peace.